Hey guys, Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Blue Box episode review for you guys. As the show is getting very, very interesting, man. It seems like Hina is taking advantage of the opportunity, and who knows? We got ourselves a date episode coming in next week. I don't know what's gonna happen. Hina's shooting her shot, and they're going basically to the fireworks festival together. A typical romance anime trope. Um, Now it's gonna be interesting to see what next week's gonna be about, and things like that. But let's get into this episode. Let's get into this episode, which is so damn good. This show is so good. I did not actually check to see if this is like a full season, like a full two-core season. I probably should have checked that when before I ended up doing my episode review or just recording right now. Um, but regardless, I'm very intrigued to see where this is gonna go. And man, all I can say is I'm at a shock. I'm at a loss of words. And let's go into it. So obviously, last week we got we got the cliffhanger of the fact of that our boy Taiki basically kind of got friend zoned. Really not really friend zoned, but you could play it off as a way like he got friend zoned. That was the title of my episode review last week, right? Of the whole fact of Chinatsu basically kind of like trying to tell him like, hey, don't act like, let's act like that moment we just had where I accidentally fell on top of you never happened, right? And clearly our boy was frustrated, and in a weird way he's been avoiding her, and we even see in this episode too, like he reluctantly like is avoiding her, and he's thinking like, oh, I guess I'm just messing up her in her life and I don't want to bother her or anything. And it is actually isn't, till Hina basically kind of snaps him out of reality and basically like, look, bruh, if you ain't gonna confront her or do something or just stop acting like you're not you, then I don't know, because the things about you, that's what I think are cool about you. And I'll get into the Hina component because really, realistically, yes, that was true, but that's also a lie to herself of what she said. We all know what she probably should have said in that moment in the episode when she's basically telling him, like, look, bro, you need to man up, you need to do all this, blah, 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 blah. And that's why I think you're so cool. In reality, we know she was actually probably or she actually should have said, like, no, that's what makes that, you is the reason why I like you and everything. And this episode was kind of like a focus on Hina and her feelings, obviously, towards Taiki and everything. And shockingly enough, the whole thing about the forgetting of the moment is kind of like it's there in the episode, but they don't focus on it too heavily. Like I thought going into this episode, that was going to be a focus. He was going to explain to maybe at least his friend Kyo like what the hell happened and stuff like that. Now it's implied, or it seems like he did tell them what happened, because we know like Hina later in that scene, Hina at some point in the episode talks to him about it and everything. So it seems like he told them already what happened and everything, and that's why he's kind of been. And we see every bits and pieces. He's just been avoiding her, because he doesn't want to bother her because of that whole thing. Now, that's also another thing wrong on my girl, Chinatsu, as much as I like her, you know. That was another wrong point, and maybe somebody's gonna have to wake her up and slap her out of reality. Maybe, and maybe a prediction, maybe Hina does that at some point. Maybe when she knows like she's completely lost, maybe she goes up to Chinatsu and she's like, bruh, you need to stop messing around with and stop playing with my dude's feelings. Like he thinks you're giving him all these like feelings and things like that you like him, and then you keep shooting him down. Like if anything you're hurting him. So we'll see where that goes. But like for example, like we even see later on, or actually let's talk about the Chinatsu component anyways. um One of the minor parts of the episode, which I thought was actually pretty cool, and it's only going to also develop Taiki's like game, because as much as this is a romance show and we're here for the romance, This was also a sports anime. It's a sports romance anime, right? And I did like the part where Haruyu senpai ended up taking Taiki to this like college training thing, and basically he not only got some good training from the coaches, but he even got training from Haru's rival, because at some point like he's doing the badminton thing and his rival's like, hey man, I think you need to loosen up a bit, you're kind of stiff when you hit this, like a back shot, he was saying. And he's basically shows him how to do it. He's like, see, this is what happens when you're not so stiff and everything. And basically Taiki replicates that, and he hits it even faster than he probably ever could do before. And and the dude's just like, see, there you go. And he basically talks to him. He's like, yeah, I was watching your match and everything, and you looked very stiff with what you were doing. It was actually limiting what you could do. And then he also talks about, he tells him like, you know, what's your goal and everything. And Taiki gives his goal of saying, I just want to continue to get better and everything. And essentially, the dude tells him like, well, even though you got Haruyu, helping you out, and that guy that you lost to in the tournament, he's only going to get better and everything. And sometimes, you're not going to, sometimes you may not be better than them. But Taiki, I forgot what he made the mention, but he said like, well, he essentially said in a way, it's like, well, I'm going to continue to try, and I'm going to continue to practice and get better and try to improve. So then, I can beat them. I have to have confidence in myself, right? And I did like that scene because the dude is like, he may not be the most talented out there, but he can shock some people. I'm always here for a good underdog story. So it's nice to see that guy is even backing him. Again, we know Haruyu took notice of Taiki because he knew deep down he may not be the most talented, but he does have something in there that could maybe be something special there. And even if this guy, who is a dude that's been dominating Haruyu, can see like, he can be a pretty good player. Yeah, he's gonna be an underdog now, but he could be something special. It really goes to show you like how much better Taiki has gotten just doing badminton, which is pretty cool to see, and everything. Haruyu ends up wanting to know where he's at after they were done, but he ended up leaving, so it seems like he's going to see him in nationals. I wonder if we ever do get to focus on Haru's nationals, performance. Maybe we get revealed like he actually finally beat him, because remember, that's the guy he hasn't beat, ever. Right? So that's the thing there. And basically, the big other part of this episode is realistically Hina, and again, her feelings for Taiki, and kind of just getting a backstory of how they became friends in a weird way, how she kind of fell for him, or she kind of started to like him. So obviously there's one part of the episode where they're sitting down, I think after a practice or something, and they're just talking. No, it wasn't after practice, it's like a day of school, and they're just talking. She's kind of messing with him, but then they overhear somebody talk about the fireworks festival that's coming up. And basically they reminisce about, back in the past, in middle school, how they first met and everything. And so back in middle school, Taiki and Hina were not exactly friends. She For him to actually get to notice her was she accidentally she accidentally hit him. Because she was talking with one of her friends, being very excited about the fireworks festival and the fact that there's gonna be like candy apples there, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to hit you like that." And he's like, "No, you're good, and everything, right?" So essentially what happens is she has to do practice, because she's even doing practice in middle school. She ends up going to the fireworks festival that evening, but she gets there a little late, and she goes to the candy apples booth, and they're actually sold out of candy apples. Shockingly enough, crazy enough, I've tried like carameled, covered, apples. I never tried candy apples, surprisingly enough. I never tried a candy apple before. Maybe one of these days I'll have to try a candy apple. Never been. Maybe mostly because I rarely go out to types of festivals and things like that. But maybe they're at like some of these county fairs or something like that out here in California. Maybe I'll have to see if they do freaking candy apples, because I haven't had a candy apple before. I know, crazy, huh? I have had caramel covered apples or chocolate covered apples before. those are pretty damn good. So yeah, but regardless, she's very upset and very sad that she won't be able to get her candy apple. But then that's when Taiki shows up out of the blue and is like, "Hey, do you want this?" And he has a candy apple, and it was an extra candy apple that he ended up buying. And she's like, "Wait, why are you giving this to me?" And Taiki's just like, "Well, I saw you drooling in the class over a candy apple, so I figured that I might as well give you this." And it's seemingly enough, we don't go even further into that backstory, but seemingly enough, that's probably was the start to their friendship. And that also could probably be the start of the fact that maybe she started to take an interest in Taiki. If anything, maybe started to like him. Now, if you're wondering why would she like him over a candy apple, listen, love knows no bounds. Sometimes it's that first look you see of somebody and you just get in love. Everybody's got a crush. So it kind of makes sense with the fact that, she would actually like him more than just being a friend, because he did this nice thing and he's always been nice to her and they've always been close and everything. So it's like, okay, she's seeing this and she's like, this could be my moment. This could be my chance. I know he's having these struggles with Shinatsu, but this could be my chance to have serious alone time with him. So she then asked him like, "Hey, did you want to go to the fireworks festival?" And Taiki's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, cool. I'm fine with doing that. Okay." So, but he ends up getting called over to go take care of something. He's like, "Hey, I'll just talk to you later." And she's like, "Okay, right." So this is actually Hina's friend, and Hina's friend could tell she's very happy about something, and she's like, "So, there's a fireworks festival. Did you want to go?" And basically, he's like, "Well, I'm kind of busy. I'm actually going with somebody." And at that point, I think Hina's friend could easily tell, like, "Oh, she's talking about she's going with Taiki and everything." She's like, "Oh, well, I hope you have fun and everything." So I do enjoy the friend. Her friend is Wing Girl 101. Good. She's good. Just like how Kyo is Wingman 101. It's nice to see that her friend is Wing Girl 101 too. So, anyways, it ends up becoming a whole misunderstanding because eventually later in the episode, they do end up talking with each other, and he's like, "Hey, so did you want me to invite Kyo or anybody else that you know?" And she's like, "Wait, what?" And now she wasn't very, now obviously, like I said, our man is dense because realistically he doesn't like her like that. He only views her as a friend, right? So she's kind of like she's kind of a little bit depressed, and her friends brings it up. She's like, "Why are you so upset?" And she's like, "Well, the guy I told that I wanted to go out with to the fireworks festival, he basically wants to bring a group of his friends and bring some other people to go." And she's like, and her friend, thank goodness her friend wasn't like, is actually like the smart friend, is like, "Bruh, then why didn't you just tell him like you wanted to just go, you wanted to go alone with him only?" And Hina kind of just gave a BS excuse like, "Well, I couldn't tell him that and everything." And basically, her friend's like, "Look, if you like this guy, you got to tell him what you truly feel. If you want to go with him alone, you got to let him know. You just can't leave things vague like that. Of course he's going to think, let's just go in a group and everything, right?" So, and that's kind of, and that even leads to the whole thing of later on in the episode to where, or actually before I get to that, even Kyo, when Taiki brings up to Kyo about going to the fireworks festival, even Kyo could tell like, oh, she actually took the initiative to ask him, but she never truly said like, "I want to go, I want to go just you and me, Taiki," right? So we later see in the episode he pulls the good wingman thing and a good friend because he probably wants to see maybe, you know. And here's the thing about Kyo. I think he knows that his boy Taiki likes Shinatsu, but I realistically think he feels like there may be a shot he could end up with her, but he probably just doesn't see it. And he's just probably being a good friend. He's like, "You know what? I can see my two friends in Taiki and Hina hooking up. And honestly, I think that might be the better relationship for them both." And honestly, after watching this episode, I'm 100% in belief of like that thing. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do some sort of weird swerve or anything later in the show where maybe actually realistically, because I remember I did an episode review saying like, oh, when Hina first showed, I'm like, oh, Here we go. This is gonna be the best friend syndrome now. I still think Shinatsu's endgame, but if Hina is endgame, I would not be surprised by it one bit because realistically, he has a lot more in it. Now, again, we got to see more of Shinatsu and our boy Taiki together. But you can clearly tell there's a good chemistry between Taiki and Hina compared to Taiki and Shinatsu. Yes, we see that they have these good moments, but there's no like ultimate character. It's always awkward between the two. Now it could be awkward because obviously he likes her, and then again we still don't know if she likes him, but I think it's becoming very clear that she does like him, more than just a friend. She likes him romantically. She's just going through her own insecurities, which we'll talk about in a bit too, about herself, right? When it comes to maybe dating or liking a guy, right? But I like the fact that, Kyo, he's like, look, with all due respect, as much as I would like to see my boy Taiki be happy with Shinatsu, I think Hina and Taiki make a better pair. And honestly, again, like I said, I can't fault that. They do seem like they make a better pair. Like this backstory episode, I'm watching this episode, I'm like, oh shit. This is the type of episode you get where you get the backstory of the childhood friend and the main male character, and you see, okay, this is why the childhood friend fell for the main male character in a romance show. And soon enough, it's gonna be like an episode or two episodes later. That's when the character's gonna get rejected, and then the main character's gonna realize I gotta go express my feelings to the main girl, right? And I'm like, oh great, this is gonna be the setup of the episode. This week and the next week's episode is gonna be a complete setup episode to her getting rejected. I'm just like, oh man. I knew it, man. And the worst part is, it's like, Hina is a very likable character. I do like Hina. Honestly, realistically, as much as I do like Shinatsu, I have to say it. I like Hina's character a lot more than Shinatsu currently right now, because I'm not trying to say Shinatsu has no character. We see the nice moments she has, but we haven't gotten as much in depth with her compared to Hina. And it makes sense that, you know, some people would like Hina um, a lot more. And typically that's how these romance shows, like, My Teen Romantic Comedy, some people like Yui Gahama a lot more than Yuki no Shita. And I think that's like completely the fair thing. Like, if I remember correctly, a lot of people liked Yui Gahama a lot more than Yuki no Shita, right? And when I don't remember, it's been a long time, but I know there were some people that were very disappointed that Yui Gahama didn't win, strictly because they felt like, no, she seemed like the better pairing for our boy, for the main character in that show. I forgot his name. Frack, it starts with an H, compared to Yuki no Shita. But that's a video for another time. Or actually, I did talk about. I actually did do like an last episode review of My Teen Romantic Comedy, because I talked about it. It's on the channel. You guys can go find it if you want to get my thoughts. That's many years ago, but regardless, my stance would probably not change from that point on, right? So, you get that moment. But anyways, our boy Keo plays a good wing boy. He basically lies to say that he's sick. It's funny because his sister's like, my brother, are you okay? I found that to be hilarious because the sister's all worried and everything. It's clear he's faking it. And, we do see it to where Taiki, when he gets that told, like, he does get a little bit flustered here, right? And then we get left off in the cliffhanger to where, he meets up with her at the fireworks festival after getting the candy apple. And he basically was like, all right, I got the candy apple, but you owe me back. And then he sees her in a kimono and everything, and he starts to get very flustered. She's like, what's up? Is there something wrong? And he's just like, nothing. But at the same time, he's blushing, right? Because clearly he's like, oh crap, Hina's actually pretty cute. So it's clear that maybe, I don't know what's gonna happen now. But Shinatsu's case, we later find out she's going to be at the festival, right, after practice. But her friend, her teammate, her friend, who's been kind of basically insinuating, like, hey, I think you need to get a boyfriend or something. It's clear her friend wants her to get a boyfriend. Like, it's clear that her friend wants her to have a boyfriend. And Shinatsu's kind of pushing that reluctantly away, like, I don't really want that and everything. And you get this funny thing where, they're debating what they should do at the fireworks festival, and there's like these three group of dudes or whatever, these three guys are listening to the conversation, and they hear them talking like, maybe we should invite a whole group, even guys included. And they're like, huh, I have a chance to go to a freaking fireworks festival with Chinatsu. She's gonna be in a kimono, she's gonna be so cute, I might be a chance to girl. And then freaking Chinatsu's like, it'd probably just be better to be an all girls night. And they're just like, oh. They look so damn depressed the moment she knocks. They overheard that. I'm just like, sorry, sorry, sorry. But we know that she's going to be there. And again, this was like another episode where she shot down the possibility of maybe having a boyfriend or getting in a relationship. And as I'm ending this episode off, it's very interesting to see her insecurities. It's like she has this hesitancy. And again, I'm not saying like every girl or every guy has to get a girlfriend or anything. Look, man, I've been single all my life, right? You don't have if somebody doesn't want to pursue a relationship, they're more power to them. They don't have to pursue a relationship, right? But regardless, it's pretty crazy and pretty wild that she's kind of pushing back on this. Now, I had to think about this, and it's a good thing I did sit on this for a day. And my best feelings as to the reason why she maybe told Taiki, like, let's forget about it and everything, I think this all stems from the fact that she has the idea that she thinks that Taiki likes Hina, and the fact that Hina likes Taiki. Because remember, she looked at one part where it was Hina and Taiki together, and she's like, oh, maybe they like each other or something. And then earlier, a few episodes ago, you remember when I think she came home or whatever, Taiki ended up telling her about something about like Hina really likes to do this and everything. And it's clear like, okay, she has an idea. She may think like, oh, he likes her. And that may lead up to the fact of of the reason why she said like, hey, let's forget about that, okay? Which is crazy. And that only tells me like, okay, deep down, she may actually like Taiki romantically. Again, when he took off her shirt, she got very flustered. She legitimately, and I can't believe I forgot about this. She went on a freaking date. Kyo told her like, hey, you'll go on a date with my boy, right? If he manages to win. And she says, yeah, I'll go on a date with him. She agreed to do that. And she didn't just go on a date where she wore like some shorts or some like jeans or anything. She straight up wore like a very cute dress. And she dolled herself up. I'm like, there ain't no way you don't like, you're dolling yourself up. You're wearing a dress like this. If you don't like this guy, you're trying to put a good impression on this guy to make you think like you look good or something, right? And then again, honestly, with the chicken nuggets thing, when she saw Hina take the chicken nugget from his little, gas station, food item, right? And she took another one, and she literally told him to his face, like, I only did this because I was jealous. And I'm just like, I think okay. It's clear too, also the reason why she said that is because, or the reason like she wants to forget about it because she's very flustered and she wants to act like that didn't happen, but that's also on her mind. Like, even when she's talking to her friend, like, she even recalls back to that moment or thinks of that moment. And, realistically, it's like, okay, it's clear. She definitely does like our boy Taiki. The obvious question is, she has her own insecurities about maybe expressing those feelings to him. And I also think she's also hiding those feelings away because she thinks that, okay, Taiki must be into Hina and Hina must be into her. So I don't want to mess up their relationship, their shot, even if it's at the behest of me being hurt, because I probably won't be with the guy that I like, maybe, right? And we know the fact that she's gonna be at the fire festival, or the fire festival. I'm thinking of fucking One Piece. Fireworks festival. And I can totally see it next week. We're gonna get a scene where she's walking with her friends, and then they end up actually bumping into Taiki and Hina, and she's going to see that, And it's gonna be very interesting to see what her reaction is to that, because she's gonna probably just be like, they're alone. Oh, well, he seems like he's having fun, when maybe it could be me, you know? And I could see it to where maybe, you know, she she's kind of shocked, and maybe she gets a little bit down about it because this guy she may like is out with another girl wearing a kimono just by themselves. Because remember, they're by themselves now. There's nobody else. So I can totally see it next week. There's going to be a moment to where her group runs into Taiki and Hina, and you get where it's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. Also, it's going to be interesting. Are we going to get the moment where maybe Hina at this fireworks festival confesses her feelings to Taiki and says, like, hey, you know, I really like you. I like you more than just a friend. I love you, essentially, right? You know, because she was going to say that early in the episode, but she didn't have the courage to say that, right? She just said, like, oh, that's why you're so cool, instead of saying that's why I like you, or that's what I like about you, or what I love about you, right? You get my point. So maybe we get a confession from Hina. We're definitely going to see Chinatsu and Taiki come across each other. Very interesting. Very interesting. Bunch of good stuff is happening in the world of Blue Box, and I definitely can't wait to see where it's going to go. I would definitely be shocked if maybe we just get a Hina and Taiki relationship. I don't know. I don't know. If it happens, it happens. It's only gonna happen like for a few episodes, and then they'll probably, you know, Hina will easily tell like this isn't working, because I can tell he clearly likes Shinatsu a lot more, and that's probably when she probably might just tell Shinatsu like, hey, you know, this guy really likes you. You know, please give him a shot. You know, so. We'll see. We'll see. But solid episode of Blue Box. Definitely can't wait to see what next week's gonna have in total. We got our fireworks, you know, festival episode, because there's always those that trope always appears in romance animes. It ain't just a romance anime if you don't got a fireworks festival type of thing going on. And usually that's when confessions happen, right? That's when confessions happen. I watched all these damn romance shows. They've always at least had either a freaking they've had a dang fireworks episode. I think the only other thing that we're missing is a beach episode. Actually, if you technically want to consider the pool cleaning scene a beach episode, I guess you can say that, but that's more a pool cleaning scene. But we got to get the beach episode to where it's a whole group of people, and clearly the girls in their bikinis, guys are in their bathing suits. You get my point. Clearly, you know, beach vacation episode, right? That's another trope we always see in these romance shows. But anyways, that's basically all I gotta say. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Blue Box content, or any other anime content I upload to the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day, night, or return this video. Till then, guys, peace.